I'll tell you, earlier this week I heard a horrible story about a very famous and very important, very well-known, very well-loved, very skillful, brilliant plastic surgeon in Los Angeles who was driving his car, Dr. Frank Ryan. He was up in the hills around Malibu, and he drove off the side of a road. I think he was in a Jeep. Car flipped over, and he's killed.
That's horrible.
Yes, it is horrible. And then in the paper today, it turns out, let me read you the CNN headline. Dr. Frank Ryan, plastic surgeon to a number of stars and celebrities, was sending a Twitter message about his border collie just before the fatal accident. That's what his ex-girlfriend told.
Well, I mean, the fatality is horrible. There's no question about it. But people today are driving in LA, assuming they can drive, and they've got their hands full. Guys are riding with an electric shaver in one hand and their portable phone, twittering or tweeting on the other hand. It's just dangerous. Now,
it's nuts.
LAPD, Highway Patrol, etc. It's pretty easy. Click it or ticket, and don't have the phone in your hand. I think
wear your seatbelt. Keep off your cell phone. Don't be texting. Don't be looking on your cell phone for like a map or something. If you want to use your cell phone, get a Bluetooth system. Have earbuds. Something. But it's just too distracting.
But it's just like the problem we had with the motorcycles when they were driving around without helmets, and we passed a law to mandate that you had to have a helmet on. There was this period of people wouldn't do it, freedom, want the thing to blow in their hair, etc., etc. But by putting on these helmets, which people didn't want to do, we have saved hundreds and hundreds of lives.
More.
It's the same thing with the cell phone. You're all into this stage of electronic connection, but you're one step away from the graveyard or someone else's graveyard when you're doing this.
I agree, but let me add an addendum to that. It's not just drivers. I see people blindly walking across an intersection. I know, because sometimes they're walking against the light, that they can't tell what color the light is. I'm not sure that they know which intersection they're at. I don't know that they know whether they're in a crosswalk in the middle of the street, and they are absolutely glued to the cell phone, texting away, and cars are zipping by them, and they don't know that they're there. And it's even worse now because some of those cars don't make a lot of sound.
Yeah, that's right.
They're hybrids.
A Toyota coming up on somebody who's texting, you never know it.
I know that's
true.
Well,
let's go. We've got some calls. Let's see if we can answer a few questions.
Start with Stacy.
Stacy,
come on in and talk to us.
Ralph and Steve, how can we help you?
Hello?
Hi, you're on the air. You're up on TV. You can talk now.
I can't really hear you that well. Sorry, maybe I'm in bad service. Can you hear me?
We hear you perfectly.
You can't hear us?
Oh, wait, that's better. Sorry, I must have just been in a weird zone.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
I hope you're not driving with your cell phone.
I'm absolutely not. That's against the law.
Good. Good for you.
I hope you're not really weird.
What can we do for you, Stacy?
Well, I have a question. My cousin was leaving a party. My cousin was leaving a party, and he was driving. He hadn't been drinking, but there was lots of alcohol at the party. And the kid's parents were home. They were, not really drinking with them, but it was okay with them. Well, a 17-year-old who was drinking a lot, he left the party at the same time as my cousin. They were friends, like they knew each other, but he was underage, and he blew a stop sign and ended up ramming into my cousin, and it was a horrific accident. This just happened on Saturday, so I don't know all of the details, but the doctors for I don't know, safety precautions, I guess, have induced a coma for my cousin because they say, I guess, it's safer for him or he's under observation or something. I don't know all the details, but I'm just wondering, this kid is behind bars. He's in jail, but I feel like there are so many people that could be at fault in this situation, and I'm just trying to help out my aunt on, what she should do.
Well, let's go back to the beginning. There's a statute in California that has certain limitations on how you can sue civilly. And basically, an owner of a liquor establishment or a person who has a party at their house generally generally is not civilly responsible unless the person who injures someone is under 21 years of age and obviously intoxicated at the time they gave them alcohol or allowed them to get intoxicated. So if I'm having a party at the house and there are kids there under 21 and I serve them alcohol or I allow them to drink alcohol and they get intoxicated and I continue to allow them to have alcohol, they go out and then have this horrible accident, the homeowner could be liable for damages. You could take everything they have away from them.
Yeah.
In this kind of situation.
Depending upon the nature and extent of the injuries, the liability could be huge.
Number two, they're criminally liable for the activities,
right,
for sale, service, or furnishing alcohol to a minor. And there's a law right now in the legislature in California to change the law civilly to make it that if you serve alcohol to any minor and they have an accident, that the homeowner would be personally liable.
Correct. Civilly liable.
Yeah.
Civilly liable. And it hasn't passed yet.
No. What's it?
He was definitely really, really drunk. But what if they didn't? I mean, I don't. Like I said, I don't know the exact situation or the details of the situation. But what if they didn't know that the boy was 17? I mean, you'd have to be an idiot, I think, not to be able to tell a 17-year-old from a 21-year-old. But
well,
what if the parents say that they didn't know?
Well,
that he was 17?
It becomes a question of fact. If we're looking at a 17-year-old who looks like a 17-year-old and it's a party populated by kids who are between 15 and 20, maybe 15 and 21 or 22, then I think as a question of fact, the trier of fact, a judge or a jury, could determine that the parents knew or should have known, based upon the facts and circumstances, that they were furnishing alcohol to a minor or causing alcohol to be furnished to a minor. The law that Steve is talking about actually was passed by both houses of the legislature.
Oh, it's sitting on the governor's desk.
It's sitting on the governor's desk right now, and it's something that...
He's guarding the border right now, so...
He's guarding the border. As soon as he gets back from San Diego County, he's going to check in and maybe sign some bills.
You know, the accident sounds very serious. And one of the things that has to be done is to, quote, find out who was there, who are the witnesses, take statements, and do a bunch of things that need to be done right away while things are fresh in people's minds. And so I would think, and the injuries sound very serious. It sounds like they're going to, you've got potential brain problems. They're going to go in and potentially penetrate the scalp and put in certain kind of drainage. And I hope that your relative gets better. But I really think you need to find a lawyer ASAP, and who's somebody who does, substantial personal injury cases, and get the evidence preserved, get the witnesses talked to, figure out what's going on, because kids scatter to the wind and nobody wants to say much, but these things are available.
Do you think that we should get a lawyer involved?
I would.
Yeah.
Do you think that we have a case to the point where we can hire someone, or?
Yes. Yeah.
This is one of those cases that may be good to be taken on a contingency, which means the lawyer will accept the case. You won't be paid for it. He or she won't be paid for it as they go along. Rather, they will take a percentage of the settlement or verdict when the case is finished, so that there's no immediate upfront cost for the plaintiff, for your cousin or his family. And when my partner says preserve the evidence, that includes the car. That includes the car. That includes taking photographs of the intersection, the stop sign. That's all stuff that a lawyer could general for you, and that's another reason why you want to have a lawyer sooner rather than later.